I'm Simon Armitage, and I'm talking about my new book, Gig, The Life and Times of a Rockstar Fantasist. I think that pop lyrics and poetry share common techniques, but you can't really analyse pop lyrics in the way that you can poetry. They don't really stand up to scrutiny. And I think that's because pop lyrics are meant to be accompanied by music and rhythm. That's what gives them their added value. A poem is its own score, it has its own music, that's already encoded in it and written in. But I mean, some of the greatest pop lyrics, if you just took them out of the song and printed them and looked at them, they would be meaningless. One of my favourite ever pop lyrics is in a song by U2. I don't particularly like U2, but I really like this song. And the lyric is, "Hey now, shalala, hey now, shalala." Well, you wouldn't want to be studying that for GCSE English. In terms of living in the North, I think I've just stayed there because it's very comfortable, and maybe I'm a little bit unadventurous. I travel a lot as well as a poet, and it's somewhere to go back to. And I wouldn't want to think of myself as being somebody who represents that part of the world, but I certainly feel as if I know it intimately and fit in there. I guess it's hard to say how it influences your work. I mean, to me, being from the North is just a very normal thing. It's like that idea that accents are what other people have. To me, I just sound completely normal and standard. But I guess from the point of view of other people looking in, the North can sometimes look like a strange and an exotic place. It's where I live, and it's the place I know, and it's where my family come from. And I've always tried to write, whether it's prose or poetry, out of the stuff that's directly in front of me. So I've never really found a good reason for leaving. The music that is still being made in the villages and valleys round about where I live is probably mostly brass bands, which, despite the fact that a lot of the mills and collieries that conceived these bands have disappeared, they're still, I think, in quite good health. And then there's a lot of amateur dramatics and things like that, people singing Oklahoma in Yorkshire voices. That all seems to be alive and well. I think there's always been a tradition in Yorkshire of performance, whether it's singing or whether it's playing instruments or whether it's going on stage, and that's all still happening. In terms of like bands making music, I don't really know. I mean, I'm kind of out of touch, and that's how it should be. I'm too old now to know about all the underground stuff that's going on. Apparently, there's a big goth revival going on in Leeds. But I'm glad I don't have to do all that again. Go back to the black nail varnish. The Scaremongers came about because when me and my friend Craig were in our early 20s, we tried to form a band, and we were at university, and we wrote a few songs, and we were hopeless, and we clearly didn't have the passion and the stamina to do it, because there were other people who were starting from further back than us that actually made it. And 20 years later, Craig rings up and says, "Well, why don't we do it now?" And he caught me a little bit off guard, and I sort of said, "Yeah, okay then." And then a few hours later, maybe when I'd sobered up, so I realised that it was a bit of a stupid idea. For one reason, we now live 225 miles apart. But it's been great. We've resurrected some of the old songs, we've written new ones. We've done a lot of it on the internet, sort of swapping ideas and sending files and things like that. And then we've been in the studio recording. And I think the beauty of it is that it's too late. There's no ambition here to kind of make it in that scene. All we want to do is to write these songs and have a good time, and that's what we're doing. And there might be sort of private fantasies still being played out. There might still be a little bit of air guitaring in front of the bathroom mirror going on, but by and large it's fun. We're doing it because we can. We have a website, a Scaremongers website. I guess you just put Scaremongers into Google. Well, I know that you do, and up we pop. Or there's a MySpace page, and you can hear the tracks on there, or you can download them, and you can hear them on Radio 2 and 6 Music occasionally, when we've paid enough in bribes. The Beatles or the Stones? The Stones. The Fall or the Smiths? That's a tricky one. You know what, I couldn't really choose. It depends what I'm doing and what mood I'm in. I mean, they're two huge bands for me, so they're equally balanced, I think. If I were 18 today, I would be listening to the Scaremongers, no question.